God, you're always taking care of me. I wanna follow where you are leading. Ooh, I don't wanna miss out on the good right now. Ooh, and everything I see, you're good, so good to me. I have decided I will depend on you no matter what. That's what I choose. I have decided I will depend on you no matter what. That's what I choose. That's what I choose. I am content in you. Thank you for all that you've given me. You are generous and good forever. Help me share the love you're showing me. I want everyone to know you better. Ooh, I don't wanna miss out on the good right now. Ooh, and everything I see, you're good, so good to me. I have decided I will depend on you no matter what. That's what I choose. I have decided I will depend on you no matter what. That's what I choose. That's what I choose. I am content in you. That's what I choose. I am content in you.
Whenever I'm in need and I'm looking for help, God, you're always there for me. Wherever you lead me, I can follow you. God, you're always there for me. Oh, God, you're always there for me. Help me believe you know what's best for me. I feel it in my soul when you are in control. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I do what I should do when you help me choose. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Whenever I'm lost and I don't know where to turn, God, you're always there for me. Wherever I go, you're always by my side. God, you're always there for me. Oh, God, you're always there for me. Yes, you are. So help me believe you know what's best for me. I feel it in my soul when you are in control. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I do what I should do when you help me choose. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah.
Yeah. God, help us to be more like you. 'Cause your way is the best way.
I feel it in my soul when you are in control. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I feel it in my soul when you are in control. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I do what I should do when you help me choose. I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah, I got one life to live and I wanna live it your way. Oh yeah.
Kidville, welcome back to Self-Control. This is week 3. You know, the choice is yours. And what choice is that? Self-control. Self-control, of course, is choosing to do what you should even when you don't want to, right? We know what that's like. Super tough to do, but we learn that God wants to help us with that. Let's talk about this. How do you know when someone is angry, right? Their eyebrows change, their mouth changes, the wideness of their eyes change, the tone and the loudness of their voice probably changes when they're angry, right? Tell me, do you think these faces are looking angry? What do you think? Got some angry eyes, angry eyebrows for sure. Yikes. There may or may not be steam coming out of their ears, right? That's kind of a myth. When people are really angry, the steam comes out of their ears. They might start to say things like, that really butters my biscuit, or, oh, that pushes my buttons. That just makes my blood boil, makes me see red, or that just frosts my cookies, sets off my fuse, that makes me breathe fire, or that makes me spit nails, or I'm as mad as a hornet or a snake. I would not want to meet an angry snake. Sometimes I say, hey, don't get so mad, don't have a cow, or don't have a conniption fit, or they might say, I'm gonna blow my top, or I'm gonna go ballistic. These are just some of these are real things that people have used to describe people who are angry. They might sound silly, the angry faces might look silly, but in reality, when we get angry, it doesn't really feel silly, right? It actually feels really bad to be really angry. It takes a lot of energy out of us, and when you get angry, you lose your cool. It really doesn't feel good. You end up really regretting it. I know that's what it feels like for me. You feel bad after you've gotten really angry and kind of lost control. Well, today we get to hear a story about someone who, he doesn't lose his cool. He actually manages to stay under control and not get angry when he really had a reason to be. So we're going to check that out. Let's see what Jacob is up to today.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob, here today to talk to you about self-control. Self-control is choosing to do what you should, even when you don't want to. It's very important to have control. I have a controller for just about everything, in fact. Like this stereo. Thanks, stereo. Or this fan. I've even got a remote for my blender. And of course, everyone's favorite remote control, the TV remote. Whoa, where is the TV remote? This is its spot. This is its home. It's where it lives. Where are you, little TV remote? TV remote! TV, 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 TV. No, little guy, where are you? TV! This makes me so mad. I bought the remote caddy so that I could house my remotes. And when someone takes the remotes away and doesn't put it back, I get real angry. I ask you, why have a remote caddy if you're not gonna caddy the remotes? What's going on? Oh, I think I'm paused. Okay, maybe this is for the best. I was really losing my temper there. Okay. I feel better. You can unpause me now. That was a close one. Anger can really take over if you let it. In today's story, we'll hear about a guy named David who had every reason to be angry. Let's hope it doesn't control him. Oh. I wonder what this controls. I don't even own a car.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 24.
David had been chosen by God as Israel's next king, but for a while, Saul was still king. David served King Saul and won many battles for him. The people loved David.
Hey David, you're so fine, you blow our money, David! Hey David!
Saul, however, was deeply jealous of David. In fact, he even tried to kill him. David escaped into the wilderness, where around 400 men came to join him. People who were in trouble or owed money.
A merry band of misfits.
But Saul still saw David as a threat. When he heard that David and his men were camped in the desert of Maon, Saul took soldiers to chase after.
They're right behind us, David.
Quick, we'll head around the mountain.
Just as Saul and his men were closing in on David, Saul received word that the Philistines were attacking Israel.
Oh, phooey.
Saul was forced to stop the chase and deal with the Philistines. David and his men could breathe a sigh of relief.
There's a safe place near En-Gedi. Maybe Saul will finally leave us alone if we hide out there.
But as soon as Saul had dealt with the Philistines, a messenger brought news.
David is in the desert of En-Gedi.
Aha! We've got him this time. Gather 3,000 of the best soldiers from all of Israel.
But, Your Majesty, David only has 400 men.
3,000, and not one less.
Saul set out once more, determined to wipe out his rival.
I bet that pipsqueak is hiding out near the rocky cliffs of the wild goats.
Well, that seems oddly specific.
Yeah, he used to herd sheep.
In fact, David and his men have been staying near some sheep pens not far from the cliffs.
Saul, headed this way. He's got 3,000 soldiers.
Again? Why can't he leave us alone?
We can take him on. I'm worth 10 of his soldiers.
David could feel his anger boiling, but he took a deep breath.
No, we won't fight them now.
And we won't have a choice in about 6 minutes.
The caves! I want everyone inside! Stat!
David and his men hurried into a nearby cave that cut deep inside the cliffs.
All the way to the back!
They're here!
Outside, near the sheep pens, Saul had called a halt.
Take a break, men!
At that moment, Saul found himself in need of a royal outhouse.
I require a royal outhouse.
I believe there's a cave over there, Your Majesty.
I suppose it'll do.
Saul entered the cave. Far back in the cave, David and his men froze. Through the gloom, David could see the man who had tried to kill him and was now forcing him to live on the run.
What if he finds us?
I don't believe we're Saul's #1 priority at the moment.
He's alone. This is your chance.
God's handed your enemy over.
Don't let this chance just trickle away.
David's anger burned red hot as he crept up behind Saul, sword at the ready. But then, he forced himself to stop. Instead of attacking Saul, David sliced off a corner off the king's long royal robe. Saul left the cave with no idea that David was still inside.
Time to move out, men. This is the day we take out that whippersnapper David.
But at that moment, David emerged from the cave and cried out,
King Saul!
David?
David bowed low to the ground.
Why do you listen when men say David is trying to harm you? This day you have seen with your own eyes how the Lord handed you over to me in the cave. Some of my men begged me to kill you, but I didn't. I said, he is the Lord's anointed king.
Saul could only stare in shock as David held the piece of fabric he cut from Saul's robe.
Look at this. I cut off the corner of your robe, but I did not kill you. Yet you are hunting me down to kill me. May the Lord show that I'm not guilty of doing anything wrong. May he save me from you.
The truth cut Saul to the heart and began to weep.
Oh, you are a better person than I am. You have treated me well, but I've treated you badly. May the Lord reward you. I know for sure that you will be king. Now, promise me that you won't kill my family or wipe out my name from my family line.
David looked his enemy straight in the eye.
I promise.
Then Saul and his men returned home, and David and his band of misfits returned to their usual hiding place.
David was angry at King Saul, and he probably should have been. King Saul was trying to kill David. But even in his anger, David didn't lose control. He paused and thought and didn't let his anger take over. You don't need a remote control for yourself to know how to pause. You can do that on your own. If you're angry because someone borrowed something they weren't supposed to, or someone said something that really hurt your feelings, you could just fly off the handle. Or you can pause, count to 3 or 10 or 100 if you have to, and think about how you're going to respond. Remember, you can pause in real life, but what you can't do is rewind. Once you've said or done something in anger, it's out there. You can never take it back. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever get angry. In fact, Jesus himself got angry, but he had good reasons to get angry. And so do we sometimes. It's like when you or someone you know is being treated unfairly. That's a good reason to get angry. Losing a remote? Probably not the best reason to get angry, but good anger or bad, it's still wise to keep control of your anger instead of letting it control you. That's the one thing to remember today. Don't be controlled by your anger. Count to 10 and keep your cool. Music!
Okay. Music! Oh, that's the... Okay.
I gotta get a universal remote. I'll see you next time.
So David had amazing self-control in this story, right? He had every reason to be angry at King Saul. The guy was out to kill him. So, he'd been after him. Obviously, this would be a really tempting moment for David. But when David had the chance to kill King Saul, even with all his men urging him to do it, he didn't do it, right? He didn't let his anger control him. He decided to use self-control instead. I imagine that David stopped and he took a deep breath. Okay, right? What does God want me to do? And he chose to spare Saul's life. Amazing. So, this is true for us. Don't be controlled by your anger. That's our bottom line for today. It's normal to get angry. That happens to us all the time, right? Sometimes we even have a good reason to be angry. Like if someone we know or ourselves are being treated unfairly, or if you have to do something or things don't make sense to you, right? It's really easy to get angry. Even Jesus himself got angry, right? But when Jesus got really angry, he had good reasons for it. He was angry when people hurt others, or when people lied about him, or when people use their status to like get rich and then control or take advantage of other people. Jesus would get angry, but Jesus never let anger control him. And that's what he wants us to know. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to think about situations where you might be angry. So why don't you grab a pillow from your couch if you're at your couch, or from your bed if you're by your bed. You can throw that on the floor in front of you. It can be a pillow, it can be really anything, but throw something on the floor in front of you. And I'm going to give you some situations where you might get angry or frustrated or annoyed. And if that's a situation where you yourself would get angry, frustrated, annoyed, then I want you to jump over your pillow. All right, on the floor. And then you can go back and get ready for the next one. All right, so we're going to think about some scenarios. We want to know what makes us angry. Well, what if you can't find your good mitts? You got this good pair for Christmas, time to go outside, you can't find them. If you're angry about that or you're frustrated by that, jump over your pillow. What about if you get asked to help shovel the driveway? It's a lot of work, it's really cold. You're asked to help shovel the driveway. What if you get your device taken away as a consequence for something you've done? No iPad, no TV, no computer. How do you feel about that? What if people are telling you that you can't join in on what they're doing? Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your friends. Nope, you can't play this game. Nope, you can't do that. How does that make you feel? What if someone accidentally breaks something of yours? We've all been there. Are you going to be angry about that? What about if the restaurant that your family picks doesn't have the food you like? Like, wouldn't it be the worst if you drove up to the McDonald's drive-thru and they were out of chicken nuggets? Be bad news, right? Are you going to be angry about that? What about this one? Someone on your team messes up and your whole team loses. How are you going to feel about that? If that makes you frustrated, you can jump over your pillow. What about yourself? What if you mess up in your practice for your sport, or maybe it's your music practice, you're messing up and it's like 12 times in a row, you just can't get it right? How are you going to feel about that? What if someone calls you a mean name? Right? That never feels good. Or what if a friend ignores you, like on the playground, or when you're hanging out with friends and someone's ignoring you? How does that make you feel? If your plans change unexpectedly and you don't get to do what you wanted to do, how are you going to react to that? Does that make you angry? Okay, all right. This one's very personal. What if your internet is not working and you're supposed to be on your call, internet is down? Are you going to be frustrated by that? Yeah. Okay, so those are some situations where you might feel frustrated. It's super normal to feel angry. You might feel a whole bunch of things. You might be actually hurt or something else, and you're feeling something, and you should really talk to someone about that. But what Jesus wants us to know is that we don't have to let our anger control us. We can choose how we react. We can choose self-control to keep ourselves under control. We can stop and think about how we're going to respond to these challenges. So remember, it's always best to make the wise choice. We always say that in Kidville, right? We want to make the wise choice. Unfortunately, we don't have our remote for life that we can just press rewind and go back and fix it, right? Unfortunately not. So we have to try responses like taking deep breaths, right? Okay, I'm not going to let my anger control me. Or maybe you tell one person who you're not mad at how you're feeling. Maybe you stop and repeat the memory verse a couple times to help you calm down. Maybe it's just simple as you just count as high as you can. You just count so that you can distract yourself from those angry feelings. Maybe if it's a person that's bothering you, a brother or sister's driving you crazy, maybe you stop and think of 3 things that you like about that person. Maybe you're going to be less likely to be angry at them. Sometimes you just got to do something like punch a pillow or do some other physical activity, like do some jumping jacks or run in place to just kind of burn off that energy. Maybe you're just hangry and you should go get a healthy snack or drink a bunch of water and you're going to start to feel better. Maybe it's you're letting your thoughts, your angry thoughts kind of take over and you need to clear your mind and remember, okay, don't let my anger control me. I don't have to do that. Maybe you can just think of some things that you're grateful for. What works for you? These are just some ideas of what we can do when we start to feel really angry. Stuff is bothering us, stuff is frustrating us, annoying us. We're angry at the situation. How can we keep ourselves under control and react? So you figure out what works for you. Talk with your family about that, right? Talk with your family or whoever you can about what you can do when you feel angry. We have a parent guide and we have God time cards to help you with that so that you can spend some time learning about what God has to say about controlling your anger, taking some tips about how to do that. So check those out on our website. All right, everyone, hang in there. We got to stay calm and under control. Let's have a great week, and I will see you next week.